The JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your humble host, JohnAge. Hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the old North State, I will be your tour guide this evening as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global, satanic death cult of pedophiles. So happy to be with you tonight, folks. So happy to be with you. I will be taking you into the dark side of the AM. Check out AnomicAge.com. Looks a lot like that. Abso-smurfly like that, if you want to be precise. That's exactly how it looks. So check out AnomicAge.com. You can donate. You can become a patron. We got the free iPhone app, the free Android app, the Cash app. Buy me a cup of coffee. You got the free iPhone app, free newsletter, free Android app, subscribe by email link, and so much more. Right there. You guessed it. At AnomicAge.com. I think I'm getting the bugs out of the notifications. If you got the iPhone or the Android, I don't know what was going on. For me, it was having some hiccups with the notifications. Hopefully it wasn't doing that for you. But with any luck, they'll be ironed out with this most recent incarnation of the AnomicAge app updates. Really, it's really what it boils down to. Some app updates is what's going on. So, nevertheless, there you are. Here I am. We're going to do a little talking. Love staying up in the dark side of the AM and just doing some conversating, just some talking. Continuing our bi-weekly conversation, I guess. Full disclosure, those of you who are interested, I'm going to have Dr. Jane Ruby on the show tomorrow at an odd time. So if you can stick with me, it'll be at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know I'm going to have to get up earlier and not do a show in the dark side of the AM. It makes me ever so sad. But nevertheless, Dr. Jane Ruby will be with us tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God willing, anyway. I mean, the show's confirmed. We got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, all the techs working, so it should be just fine. But Dr. Jane Ruby will be with us. She'll be talking about the latest Pfizer billions that Trump's agreed to give the taxpayers. We'll talk about why these criminal scumbags are not prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, but are in fact getting over $70 billion of U.S. tax dollars. We'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about a little Bill Gates. Maybe even a little everybody's favorite Dr. Fauci and the rest of these globalist criminal piles of bipedal dung that should be swinging from a rope right now. But instead, they're getting invitations to the White House. They're getting billions of your tax dollars. And I guess the American people are just cool with that. That's really what it boils down to. So I'm not going to take all the thunder away from tomorrow's show with Dr. Ruby. But we will be talking tomorrow a whole lot more about this. I'm just going to cover this from a slightly different angle tonight. In case you are wondering, we are sitting at Information Breakdown segment 488. Understanding weak sheep. That's exactly what tonight's episode is going to be about. Understanding weak sheep. Yeah. You guessed it. That comes courtesy of yours truly. That's who decided to go with this graphic. dolled up a great motorcycle jacket with some rockers and some sheep. That is indeed exactly what we got going on, folks. We got a bunch of weak sheep, it looks like, in the American populace. So I'm going to try to not come at this with the very disparaging and very jaundiced eye, because that's kind of what I want to do. And believe me, whatever I want to do is really never the answer. It's too dark for the general public. It's not, probably not Christ-like at all. It's just not good. So I try to reel myself in before I just become the real me, because no one wants that. So rather than not fully dancing with the devil by the pale moonlight and listening to a little Prince with some bat dance, we ain't going to do that. No. What we are going to do is what it says on the show descriptors for this evening. We're going to discuss America's growing tribalism and how it's contributed to the nation's downfall. Because I don't know if we're fully downtrodden or just down right out. But as the great John B. Wells often says, it'll certainly do until the downfall gets here. So we'll talk about this whole tribalism thing. We'll discuss it from, as usual, a sociological, psychological, and dare I say, anthropological lens, so that you can better understand how we got in this lovely little handbasket of turds. Because that's what's up, man. And I've really been kind of analyzing, or at least trying to. I don't spend a whole lot of time with idiots, but really trying to analyze why people have this vitriolic spirit of idolatry. That's the only thing I can really think of it as. And I've kind of run this down through a few different lenses. But I've noticed recently that we've become such a tribalistic civilization. It's obvious that you've got all the polarities that have been put in place by the communist scum. You know, you've got the gay and the straight, and the black and the white, and the immigrant and the, I guess, national. You know, you've got all these dualities, all these Claude Levi-Strauss binary oppositions. Again, from the previously named book, The Raw and the Cooked. So discusses that ad nauseum in there, and that's exactly what we're living in. We're living in this ones and zeros binary opposition. That's what they have been trying to shove down our throats for at least 60, 80 years, really. And it's worked out really well because they've gotten us in this tribalistic state of fighting each other. And it's what we do best, really. It's tribalism. When people say tribalism, I don't think you really grasp it. That's what it is. Like, it's really like primitive culture tribalism. That's what that's all about. So, I mean, you know, I'm not going to go through the anthropological literature, you know, Tyler and, goodness gracious, I'm missing some of these dead guys. Anyway, just believe me, there's a nauseum of anthropological literature that you can look at that just focuses on tribalism, primitive cultures, and how they have been put against each other. And I think the they, whoever they is, it's not the, but it might be the, yeah, you know. So whoever they is, I think they have been pulling this tribalism thing for a long time. It comes right out of the Frankfurt School. That's what critical theory is all about. It's looking at the disparaged in the population. It's looking at that Marxist lens of the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. For heaven's sakes, it's predicated on conflict. Okay? So the proverbial they know that we are hardwired to be tribalistic. We're a hardwired tribalistic people. Because thousands of years ago, it worked out just great. You needed to stick with your clan, with your kind, if you will, because you didn't know where the invaders, marauders, and otherwise killers might be coming from over that next horizon. So yeah, I mean, that's how it worked out. And we know that it started with foraging civilizations, and it all stems from the family unit. Isn't that irony upon most ironic? That the one thing that the critical race theory, the critical Marxist theory, the critical gender theory, all the critical Marxist boobs from the Frankfurt School, from Frankfurt, Germany, that we brought over here. Yeah, you know what I mean. All these scumbags demonize that one critical element. The one critical element that created it all, folks. La familia. Yeah. So that is the most demonized of them all, but in fact, that's what created our societies, ladies and gentlemen. So from the family sprang the little hamlets, the little townships, the little small nation states, all the way up to the big nation states, a la where we are today. So this worked out great thousands of years ago, but it doesn't work out so good today. And please don't mistake what I'm trying to say, because I am in no way, I swear I'm not really trying to speak in verse here, I am in no way trying to insinuate that diversity is our greatest attribute, or any of the other coexist just dog excrement that they try to shove up your nose 8 days a week and twice on Sunday. You know, diversity is our greatest strength, said no one ever that actually had a brain. Because here's the real deal on this whole thing. Look at the countries that actually aren't sinking into oblivion right now. And you better know that ain't us, okay? We're sinking into oblivion. But the actual countries, the cultures are not sinking into the turds. Yeah, like China. You know, I'm no fan of old China. You know, that was basically a commie creation from the United States, but neither here nor there. And of course, Mother Russia, yeah, they again tend to stick with their own. They tend to support each other. They tend to back each other. And somebody's going, but it's predicated on communism, John. Okay, whatever. I'm saying they stick together, they fight for each other, they back each other, and they darn sure don't put up with, tolerate, or otherwise go along with the bull butter that has gone on here in America for at least the last 60, 70 years. I mean, we put up with any low-class, bottom-feeder, floor-flushing trash imaginable in this country. There's so much every day. I could just do a 2-hour news segment, but that wouldn't be much of a show. We'll kind of do a news wrap-up maybe in the last 20. But the realness is just that. What was this tranny crap that they've got in Harvard now? I don't know if I can find it. Let me see. I know I had this in my Twitter feed. So if you don't already follow me on the Twitter, maybe you should do that. Twitter, Facebook, BitChute. I can't. This creature had some grody name, and I can't recall. It was like horror or something. Oh, come on. I can't believe I don't have this creature's name, because it was super gross. Ah, darn it. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You've seen one trend, you've seen them all. Now I'm just compelled to find this creature, because... Oh, come on, man. Harvard hires drag queen name. Let's put it on the screen, because somebody ain't believing me. Somebody's not believing me. This creature. Harvard hires drag queen named Lahore Vagistan as visiting professor. You know what that means? I'll fill you in. That means she gets the benefits and everything. Yeah, because she's a visiting professor. So she gets, for whatever limited time that Lahore Vagistan is going to be at the great Harvard, yeah, she'll get benefits and insurance and everything. Isn't that cool? I wonder how much we fund Harvard, you know, with the tax dollars and everything. I don't know. So anyway, good news is we got another trainee at Harvard. Woo-hoo. Anyway, back to my point. Real countries don't allow this kind of bottom feeder trash. That's just what it boils down to, folks. Real countries don't allow the nonsense of the George Floyd riots, the nonsense of the LA riots. You want to go way back in time? The nonsense of the Watts riots. They don't allow that. Real countries don't allow that to occur. Real countries stomp that kind of crud out and into the ground and perhaps never to be seen from again. But here, we're just like, oh, that's cool. It's a protest. It's their free speech to burn stuff down and hurt people. That's what we allow here in the land of the sheep, home of the slave. What did I say? Land of the sheep? What? You mean like the weak sheep? I think you're finally starting to catch on. The weak sheep, folks, exactly. We have allowed the country to go down this morass, this cesspit, this scum-filled bag of defecation. Yeah, the weakness. And it's weird because it's a lack of tribalism while also tribalism, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, here's how that actually works. See, real cultures stick together. So if you look at the Asiatic cultures, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, whatever, they stick together. That's why they have their own businesses. They have their family-run units. They, I don't really care who mates with who, but they mate with each other. They marry into each other's families. They keep the money in-house. They keep the businesses in-house. And here's a big surprise, folks. They don't want you involved. They don't care if you shop at their stores or not. They just don't care. Yeah. You want another one? Because this is the culture of the hour. The Jews. Oh my gosh, did he say it? I think he just did. The Jews do the same thing. Exactly right. They intermarry. They intermingle, if you will. They keep their businesses in-house. They support each other. And that's how it works. Amish, anyone? Exactly the same thing. These cultures don't give a rat's patoot whether we buy their products, don't buy their products, or even exist, folks. Let's take a look at other cultures that are doing the exact opposite. So if you want to look at black and white America, we're doing the exact opposite, folks. Some people are going to try to say, but Los Blancos do all that, John. Folks, if they did all that, Los Blancos wouldn't be in the handbasket of refuse that they're in now. Just saying. Facts, not feelings. I don't care. That's just the truth. But instead, Los Blancos are falling all over themselves, hand over fist, over foot, over rump, to virtue signal and show everybody just how great they are. Because Los Blancos have been taught, K through 12 indoctrination, college, university, weaponization, that they're the problem. Just like Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols, problem. That's what we've been taught, dummies. That you're the problem. Not that you created this nation. Not that you built it from nothing. Not that you created the whole thing. Not that you ended slavery. Nay, you caused it, right? It wasn't the Jews. It wasn't the blacks. It wasn't the Muslims. It was Los Blancos. Oh, gosh. But you bought the lie. So to atone for this supposed multi-generational ill, what are we like? 200 years of slavery. Ooh. How much traction can you get off one thing? You know what I mean? It's just kind of silly after a while, but... Anyway, so to atone for your multi-generational ill, you have to virtue signal until you can't virtue signal no more. You got to virtue signal till it falls off. You know what I mean? And you've got to take up for every other culture that's not Los Blancos. That's the problem. But wait a minute, folks, because somebody's saying, well, if that's the problem, how is the black culture? Yeah, the black culture is... fallen into the trap set up by the globalists. If you believe it's the globalists, do some research. But the black culture is falling into the globalist trap, if you will. You know, the one set up by Margaret Sanger to get rid of the weeds, and the one set up by LBJ, you know, Great Society, you know. And then the one put in place by Nixon, you know, the war on drugs. The war on crime. The war on drugs came in the 80s with Reagan, I believe. But I digress. They fell into the trap of we need to have as many offspring as possible, and let's see if we can take out the one thing that holds the family together. What could that be? Los padres. Exactly, the dads. Take out the dads, because then we could have more kids with different fathers and get more money for sitting on our rump and doing nothing. And that will cataclysmically destroy that culture. That will lead to the tribalism inside the culture of blacks killing other blacks and going to prison and selling drugs to destroy their own community and creating asinine gangster raps, you know, funded by Sumner Redstone primarily in the late 80s and 90s to destroy and debase the culture more. And then you see the globalists. They know how this works because the globalists know that it's I'm not going to say this because it'll get taken out of context, but the people like to follow each other. Everyone in society likes to play follow the leader. So if you spy through your own little eye one of your neighbors with a nice new car, or maybe a jacket, or maybe a set of shoes, ladies, or something, I don't know, then you automatically say, I'd like some of that too. How can I look more like Fred next door? He's got a snappy car. He's a great dresser. Oh my goodness. And you fuel the keeping up with the Joneses. The great circle jerk song, Mr. Jones and Neighbor Sam. Or is it Mrs. Jones? I think it's Mr. Anyway. So they know that we are a tribalistic people. We will follow the leader. We will play monkey see, monkey do all the live long day until we are replicating a culture, no matter how toxic it is. Even if that culture was the CIA and Tavistock created culture from the 1960s until now. You know, fueling the culture with anti-heroes and drugs and drinking and promiscuity because that's A-okay, right? And if you don't think so, we are square. See how that works? It's great, isn't it? And what it really is doing is creating weak sheep. Because the consumerism really started with old Edward Bernays, right? Torches of Freedom, Freedom Fries from George W. We got to keep up with the Joneses. We got to get that new car. And that's exactly where we are today. And you have people falling into this weakness. And people, whether or not they want to classify it like this or not, they are idolaters. They idolize their neighbor. They idolize whatever they've become comfortable with. Even if what they've become comfortable with is grossly distorted, satanic, and otherwise just plain bad. Okay? So I was going to throw some names out. I'll try not to because then I'll start getting hate mail like, you besmirched my hero. Good grief. Listen to that Enrique Iglesias song. I could be your hero, babe. Good grief, man. That's the problem, though, folks. We idolize people instead of the God, the Yahweh, the Logos. That's true, man. So we idolize our neighbors with their fancy car or their nice shirt or whatever. And we also become very comfortable and very tribal driven, and we idolize what becomes comfortable with us. Regardless of the fact if that person is no longer even doing what they once were. You know what I mean? I'm trying my best not to give examples here, but so if you listened, this is not that example, but I'll just give it to you. If you listen to Phil Donahue for like 20 years, he was on at least 20 years. Phil Donahue, this is dating me, I know. Somebody's going, I don't know who Phil Donahue is. Look him up, I don't care. He's not really who I'm talking about. But if you listen to Phil Donahue for 20 years, even if Phil Donahue became somebody that just sucked, somebody that was clearly just mailing it in and just doing a half-hearted BS, bought and paid for version of his original show, then there's a certain sect of that audience, his fan base, if you will, that's always going to hold true to Phil. Even if Phil is no longer the Phil that he once was. Okay? And that's just how it is. People always do the idol worship thing. They idolize their favorite sports star, their favorite athlete, their favorite musician. I mean, gracious goodness sakes alive. I see this all over social media now, where clearly you have musicians that have worn out their prime. I'm not saying they weren't good at one time. I'm just saying everybody has a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? I've seen like Tiffany all over social media today, and I'm sorry, it's not the Tiffany from 30 years ago, and it's not supposed to be. Same thing with David Lee Roth. Everybody, oh, Dave sucks and his music's, yeah, he's not the same Dave from 1984. He's not. And I think you have a sect of the population that's always going to hold these people up on the pedestal no matter how crappy the product they're turning out is. Because they're idol worshipers, folks. You're not supposed to do that. People are supposed to have a beginning, middle, and an end. David Lee Roth not going to be 30 for the next 100 years. He's not going to be 25 or what have you. It's silly. But there's a certain sect of that fan base that will just never let it go. And if anyone says the least bit of disparaging, oh my gracious, you've disparaged our God. If only people were that reactionary and that vitriolic towards people that actually disparaged Christ, but you're not. You have that idol worship against people that don't deserve the idol worship, folks. The Muslims and everybody in between and Satanists can come here and say every disparaging thing, and the Jews, about Jesus Christ, and everybody's like, oh, well, with ring hands, gnash teeth, ring garments. But alas, if somebody says something bad about your Phil Donahue, we're coming for you then, oh my. We heard what you said about Phil Donahue. And it's just flipping sad, folks. It really is, man. Because on this show, I've never been one to just straight up be like, this guy is complete S. I'm not listening, even if I feel that way about a number of people. It's okay to just say, yo, you disagree with what this person's putting out now, no matter who it is. There's tons of people out there that I disagree with and agree with. I listened to my own show from 5 years ago. I don't even agree with some of that, okay? That's what's up, folks. To quote Ian MacKaye of Minor Threat, this stuff's all in flux. There's no set of rules. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm out of step with the world. Exactly, Ian. I am indeed out of step with the world because I refuse to be a weak sheep. And the weak sheep moniker transcends the left because everyone on the right always wants to bah at the sheeple idiots of the left, rightly so. But as you know, there are no sacred cows in my barn, so I will go after every side and any side that is doing tomfoolery. So if you're on the right and you're doing the same culty nonsense as the people on the left, don't think you're getting a pass from me. I'm not bought and paid for. Nobody's sponsoring me. I'm not in anybody's pocket. I'm not wearing a funny hat. I'm not making out with a wall. I'm not getting any of the monies, okay? That's the good news. That means I got carte blanche to do whatever. Great anti-hero song, Carte Blanche for Chaos. Carte Blanche for Chaos. Carte Blanche for fun. Love the anti-heroes. If you don't listen to anti-heroes, you're missing out. Anti-heroes, American Pie record. Whew. As the youngsters say, that's fire, man. That's fuego. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, I'm an equal opportunity destroyer. I really am. I got no sacred cows. So the right, the left, left, right. We're the exploited blah-me-yami. Left, right. Yeah, so if you're pulling that same dog manure jive on the right, you might not want to wear the glass slipper Cinderella, but alas, it does fit. Sad but true, it's going to have to slide on to you. And that's exactly what I've been seeing a whole lot, ever since Trump took office, really. It's the people that just refuse to admit that this guy is doing anything wrong. I mean, no matter how many times you get your nose rubbed in the brown stuff and your face sprayed off with the yellow stuff, there's still people that are just like, oh no, he's 5G chessing it. I can't believe you're not backing Trump. I mean, what are you for, Kamala Harris? I think that's the stupidity and the what? The weak sheep mentality of the American public. People cannot figure out that, check it, you can be anti-Israel and anti-Muslim too. Oh my. Here's why. Because neither one of these cultures have anything to do with you. Did you get that yet? They're not America. They should have no say-so, no sway, no cachet. What's that? What's that old movie? No juice. No juice. But alas, they sure seem to, because the American public is doing what I said before. They're bending all over, backwards, sideways, doing that Keanu Reeves Matrix move, maybe a little bit of that Where do we go? Maybe a little Axel with it. Just doing every shimmy and shake possible to not say anything disparaging about our greatest ally, not say anything disparaging about people of color, not say anything disparaging about, anybody in the gay, LGBT, element, or not so silent community. Enough, folks. Bastante, por favor, bastante. You gotta stop, man. You gotta stop and be an equal opportunity destroyer. That's really what's up. Otherwise, you're just a what? A weak sheep. Right, left, it doesn't matter. Here's a few things I really wanted to touch on, though, because sometimes I find meaning in the madness. And really what it boils down to is being self-validating, being a self-validator. And here's what's up, folks, because people really don't want anything to do with people that will just stand alone. Because we've been hardwired to be pack animals, in essence, to be very social primates and be with our kind. I missed the memo. That's not me. I'm a very isolationist kind of guy. I don't want to be around people. And I sure don't want to be around groups of people. So I have no desire to be in your motorcycle gang, your cult, your religion, your political party, or any blipping thing else. That's the problem. I'm a unicorn in our society, and everybody else is going along to get along because they're what, class? One more time, John. They're weak sheep. Exactly. So we've really got to stem the tide, turn the tide, or otherwise just change the channel and become self-validating. Stop looking to others to validate you. I understand it. I get that psychologically we are hardwired to get our validation from others. If you missed the episode, look into the concept of looking glass self. Like we get our validation from other people validating us. We perceive ourselves through the lens of others who are validating or not validating how we are. Yeah, that's the premise of looking glass self, but it's not a good one, folks. You need to be self-validators. You need to stop waiting for the dopamine drip for somebody to pat you on the head and give you a little Pavlov pellet, a la Pavlov's dog on social media. Oh, they gave me some likes. Oh, my goodness, my little brain stem's just a twirling. That is weak and pathetic. Stop it. Self-validate. What the peons think doesn't matter. If you have to get your ego stroked by a bunch of friends and or strangers, then they're probably not really your friends, but they're probably just a bunch of basura. Trash, peasants, scum, dirt beneath your feet. You know, the Bible says, shake off your sandals and move along. Because there's a vast majority of people you will just never touch. And that's okay, man. Everybody's supposed to be a little different. Everybody's not going to like Phil Donahue. Okay? Everyone's not going to like Owen Benjamin. Everyone's not going to like Stu Peters. Everyone's not going to like Alex Jones. Everyone's not going to like John B. Wells. Everyone's not going to like Coast to Coast or whatever, man. Whatever. It's all in flux, man. You might love George Norrie now and hate him in 2 years. You never know. And it's okay. So it's cool if I'm not your cup of tea. There's plenty of other stations out there that'll be happy to just tell you exactly what you want to hear. Validate your bull butter and go along with the gag. Trump's in for you. He's saving America. He's stemming the tide of whatever. Or just kicking the can down the road a little longer. So you got to self-validate. You really do, folks. Look into that process. If this is a new concept to you, it's okay. I'm not trying to look my nose. I'm not looking down on my nose at you. That's not the point, folks. I'm just here to educate, to propagate truth in a world of lies. Because everyone else seems to be all too happy to just feed you pablum and just go along to get along. I got some products to peddle for you. I've got some pills and some... What's that other BS? What's that blue crap? I don't know. Whatever it is. Whatever it is, I don't have it. I'm not selling it. So, again, if you want to help me out, make some donations. PayPal.me/AnomicAge, Patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. I'm not here to stroke your ego. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. What I am here to do is tell you the truth. Self-validation is key. Here's another lovely quote, and I heard this. I'm not going to take credit for this one. 50 Shades of Consciousness. Adam. Talked to this guy once. I'll just leave it at that. I like this quote, Adam. I don't know if it's yours or not, but I'm going to give you full street credit for it, my man. Lovely information you've been putting out lately. He says, it's not for us to wake up the sheep, but to gather the lions. I like that. We're not here to convince the sheep that they're being led, folks. And I'm not here to lead a bunch of blipping sheep. I want actual lions that are on point and will actually be self-validating and actually do something. That's really what we all need here, folks. And somebody's going, but how, John? I saw this. I can't remember who this boob was. Somebody was quite critical of Whitney Webb. I don't really care. I just really don't care. But I'm saying one of the critiques was she doesn't tell you anything to do. Again, people want to be led. It's not up to Whitney or me or Alex or Stu or Benjamin or Netanyahu to tell you what to do, folks. Please don't be that stupid. You got to look within yourself, into mismo. Mira. Look deep in yourself. Self-validate. Cut all the devices off. Take off your shoes and walk around in the yard if you have to. If you can get near a body of water, walk near the water, children. Yeah. Put some old Negro spirituals on and wade in the water if you have to. What I'm saying is get close to source. Getting as close to Christ as you can. Sometimes that does not mean sitting in your bedroom and reading La Biblia. Sometimes you need to take your show on the road or in nature, closer to source. Because I hate to tell you this should not be breaking news for anybody. But the world we live in is a complete open sewer, folks. It really is. So if you're expecting to take a stroll on the subway, maybe I'll take a walk downtown in my busy metropolitan city. And if you're expecting that to bring you closer to source, good luck. Because these are artificial constructs that have nothing to do with source. God didn't create that, man did. In my humble opinion, if you get closer to source, the nature, the water, the actual piece of this beautiful creation that God made, then you'll get closer to source. Then you'll have that discernment. Then you will have that self-validation. And dare I say, maybe even an actualization. And you will stop being led around by the nose by a bunch of criminal scum that could give a rat's patoot if you're alive or dead. Okay, folks. I've probably said too much. I'm sure millions of people have already turned off the program and they're crying in a corner or writing bad comments with their middle fingers. That's okay. Because we got other things to get into. A lot, actually. How much, John? Quite a bit. Okay. Some things I have video for because I realize a lot of people have that goldfish mentality and definitely that goldfish attention span. So they're like, I can't watch this if there's not moving pictures, John. Here's the deal. In the last week, in case you missed it, somehow we've wrestled TikTok away from the chat-coms. The irony of ironies, like we're not doing business with China. What a joke. So we've wrestled TikTok away from the chat-coms, and now we've given it to who? Just think about it for a minute. Listening audience, people in the comments, who do you think? Who do you think we gave TikTok to? You think we gave it to the Japanese? I'm just asking, I don't know. To quote Jello Biafra, I'm not asking you, I'm not telling you, I'm asking you. better, don't I, man? So was it Japan? I don't think so. Who could we have given control of TikTok to? Man, that's a tough one. I mean, maybe it was Argentina. I think it could have been Argentina. Anybody in the comments? Was it Argentina? I don't think so. Okay, man, this is going to be a tough one, but I'm thinking it's, pretty sure it's Israel for 1,000, Alex. Yeah. So here's the deal. Larry Ellison, Oracle is the guy, or excuse me, is the multinational conglomerate controlled by Israel. Oracle is the company that now controls, you guessed it, TikTok. So Larry Ellison, CEO, former, and founder, yeah, he's pretty in the pocket of who? If you said Israel, you're right. If you didn't, you're wrong. What else we got? We got Safra Katz. If I mispronounce your name, that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. He's the current CEO of Oracle and also in the pocket of, you guessed it, exactly right, Israel. So just so you know. But that really wasn't what I wanted to talk about, and probably not what the listening audience wanted to talk about. They wanted to sort of steer this ship into where we're going tomorrow with Dr. Jane. So we're going to play this little ditty. Little ditty about DJT. He's selling the people out ever so slightly. Here we go. We got a DJT press conference here. Can we not get the cursor up there? I mean, what the snapping turtle? There we go. Heavens to Betsy. Let's listen to a little DJT talking about Pfizer. Holy shnikes, that ain't where the audio is supposed to go. My gracious. Oh, my goodness. Someone's crying in their oatmeal right now. Let's run it back.
Pfizer, are you expecting them to come later?
They're all with us. And I was honored to have Albert be the first. He's done a fantastic job with, as you know, with the COVID. He did a fantastic job with a lot of things. He's a leader, and
he's talking about the CEO of Pfizer. Albert Bourla. If I mispronounce your name, I don't care, Albert. Albert Bourla, CEO of Pfizer. He is one of the big tree multinational conglomerate death organizations that was peddling the mRNA vaccine for you. But, yo, don't worry, because DJT is just going to stroke his goat here and tell everybody how great he was. Because you're a moron, I guess, if you're buying this. You're a weak sheep.
he did a fantastic job with a lot of things. He's a leader, and Pfizer is...
Fantastic job with COVID. He's a leader. Do you not think that this boob's a leader? Come on. Albert's a leader, man. It takes a big leader to kill that many people with a vaccine and, you know, run a psyop to convince them and everything. What a boob.
Right at the top, you know, it's there. Eli Lilly has been fantastic also, your friend.
Yeah, friend. Eli Lilly, they're great guys.
Coming in over the next week. We're making deals with all of them. And
we're making deals with all of them. It's a comedy, folks. If you ain't laughing, you probably should be, because you really have to laugh at the handbasket that we're in. The complete pile of refuse. Let's go to clip number 2. DJ T's got some more thoughts for you.
I was honored to have Albert be the first. He's done a fantastic job with, as you know, with the COVID. He did a fantastic job with a lot
I know this is the same one. It gives you a little different shake on it.
Pfizer is right at the top. You know, it's there. Eli Lilly has been fantastic also.
Fantastic.
Friend, my friend. And they're all coming in over the next week. We're making deals with all of them.
We're making deals with all of them. Gosh. I mean, come on. Okay, somebody out there is going, I don't understand, John. No entiendo. I got you. Here's what you need to know. We're going to give Pfizer $70 billion. With a B. Yeah. Uh-huh. Ah, B. Exactamente. With a B. Billion. Taxpayer dollars to Pfizer. Yep. It's hard for the a functioning brained person to understand. It really is, man. It's really hard. I mean, how? It's hard to be nice. I'm gonna try my best because I don't need to be any more non-Christ-like than I've already been today. All right, that's not cool. It's hard to be around the low-grade moron, barely functioning, room temperature IQ mentality people that actually buy this bull butter and still somehow can have their own platform and go on it and be like, yo, he's still our guy. It's 75-degree chest or whatever. I mean, it's a wrap. This guy's great. It's beautiful. It's unbelievable. Check this out, folks. We got people like, this ain't even the Skid Row areas of these cities anymore. And I know that the right loves to say, these are all communist bleephole cities. And I say that too. I feel you. But check this out, folks. Regardless of the fact that these are communist bleephole cities run into the ground vastly by women, people of color, and lesbians, the sad fact of the matter is these are cities filled with people. Yeah, I know somebody's going, Soylent Green's people. Sadly, yeah. But there's like Skid Row districts of every major city now where people are slumped over doing drugs all day. People are living in shanties and tents and everything else. And I'm not really suggesting we should go full bore commie and just buy all these people up and put them in townhouses. But I am saying we could do better with the money, the $70 billion, than urinating it away towards a multinational corporation to a CEO that should be at the very, 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 very least in chains in a maximum security prison somewhere. I mean, people go to jail for manslaughter when it's like unintentional murder. You know, if you just fall asleep at the wheel, no alcohol, no drugs, and you just run off the road and hit somebody, your odds are going to jail for manslaughter. Okay? These phlegm bags of just excrement and pus aren't going to jail. They're getting your money. Bill Gates has been at the White House 4 blipping times. I think him and Bibi are tied. These are all war criminals, folks. Bill Gates wants you deader than a hammer. Bibi has got more blood on his hands than the local butcher. What's this boob, Albert? All these people are getting your tax dollars. I don't even care if you don't love your fellow man. I don't care if you hate the people in this country. I mean, at least cut everybody a check with like a couple grand or something, instead of giving your tax base to murderers. It's like they are rubbing your nose in the brown stuff while simultaneously urinating on you. And no, this ain't a skull and bones ritual at Yale. No, this is just your average day in America. This is just another day, folks. This isn't even an obtuse, obscure, or even odd day. This is just a normal day. This is just your everyday in America. Wake up, go to work, get defecated on by the government. Yay, that's what we do here. And we just, thank you, sir, may I have another? Keep voting. Did you write your congressman? I think they're probably back from Israel from making out with the wall now. They might read your letter in the next 20 years. When you're dead from one of the vaccines. And here's the deal. I know, if you remember the press conference from like 3 weeks ago, let me pull this up because I will forget it. They removed the emergency use authorization for 3 different vaccines. For 3 diferentes inyecciones, así. But here's the funny. It's just like the Paula Abdul song. It's exactly like I laid it out at least 4 weeks ago. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, except in this case, it's 3 steps forward and 4 steps back. They removed 3 and they added 4. They are just smacking you in the face with it at this juncture. They want you dead, folks. I mean, come on. I don't know how I remember this. The Vaccine Protection Act from 1986. I was doing show research before the show. I just pulled that out of the auto, memory bank. I can't remember where my keys are sometime, but I can pull this kind of bull butter out of my hat, So 1986, thanks to Ronald Reagan, everyone's favorite, signing in the 1986 Vaccine Protection Act. What does that really mean to you? That means you can't sue these scumballs. Exactly. That means at best you get to go to a special vaccine court. And maybe after a few decades, they'll decide whether you get a little crumb. You get a little crumb. Not even close to the 70 billion that this scumbag's getting. But don't worry, because if you listen to your average alternative and assuredly the mainstream media, everybody's just, well, this is just freaking great. Good job. Pfizer's awesome. Thank you, sir. May I have another? But wait, there's more. We got Lutnick, everybody's favorite. Good grief. Is this pile of phlegm again? Laird of Lutnick. This scumbag. This is the guy whose sister was working with Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, this guy. The guy that was living next to Epstein. And unless I'm getting my facts wrong, he now has possession of his manor as well. So he was living next to this frickin' scumbag. His sister was probably not messing. We'll just say working with a pedophilic child trafficker, Ghislaine Maxwell. And somehow he makes it into the cabinet. He's got a cabinet position. A billionaire has found his way into a cabinet position where he gets to have a laughing fit every few weeks when Trump goes out there and says that the Epstein files are just propaganda, just lies by those pesky Democrats. Let's hear what old Lutz has got to say on this one. Good night, man. Please hold on to your, don't hold on to that. Just listen.
This was not, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick. This guy's gross.
Right. So how come Bill Gates
This guy, like your neighbor, the frickin' guy who you now own his frickin' estate?
and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
No, they participated.
right.
They participated, but old Larry Lutz here, no dice. Larry was just hanging out on the outskirts, maybe giving him a high five through the frickin' fence or something.
That's what his MO was, get a massage, And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Whoa. Reel it back. How is that possible, Larry? Mr. Lutnick? How could Epstein be the greatest blackmailer ever if, in fact, this is all just a Democratic hoax? That's the deal, folks. You see, you're never going to actually get all the flight log information. You're never going to actually get all the people that went to the island. I mean, I guess you'll get the admitted people like Charlie Kirk that said he went there, and you're never going to get the information or the names or these criminal pieces of dog manure in prison. The Anthony Weiner types. Nah. You remember Huma Abedin? Yeah, Hill's partner in something. That's not going to happen, is it? No. But, when you go like 10 miles over on the highway, the fuzz will pull you over and get money for the Krishna, money for the Krishna, money for the Krishna. No, excuse me. Money for the state, money for the state, money for the state. Exactly. That's right. Because it's one law for them and another law for us. So saith the great Foreskins, an amazing oi band. One law for them, and another law for us. I'd say, yeah. Do we have time for a little bit more? Oh, my goodness. As the great Billy Idol would say, mo. We sure do. We got a little Candace for you. Everybody's wrote Candace off. I never even wrote Candace on. But I got to be real. A broken clock is right twice a day. If anything, I can say she has changed her ways or something. She is rocking the realness while the rest of the media seems to be, how do I say this nicely? Fumbling with their keys. Yeah. Because the rest of the media is what? Weak sheep. But maybe not Kansas. Let's see what Kansas got to say, because this sounds a whole lot like some Clinton ops to me. Where do these doctors come from? I don't know. How's the same coroner on every case? I don't know. How's the same medical examiner on every case? I don't know. I don't think Kansas knows either, but she knows that something is awry. Something that stinks over here, and it ain't the cheese.
We mentioned that apparently it was kind of everybody's first day on the job, right? 9/10 was everybody's first day on the job, meaning that there were a lot of these recent and brand new hires in Utah that would all kind of come across and have to deal with this case. Kash Patel, I told you, cleaned house at the state borough. He then installs a person that has a long tenure in D.C., Robert Bowles. His first case is Charlie Kirk's assassination. Why would he want to uproot and move his family to Utah after having roots in Virginia for so long? I don't know, but that's the circumstance. Also, I told you there was a new CEO and therefore a new lead surgeon, Andrew Zenger, over at the hospital, the regional hospital that Charlie was taken to, although that was not the nearest hospital from the university, and it also ranked extremely low in terms of the most best equipped hospital, if you will, to deal with the sort of trauma that Charlie was suffering from, a neck wound, obviously. So it's very strange. I think it would be interesting to learn whether or not that new CEO and surgeon worked on Charlie. That's something that I would like to find out. If you know that information, please send it to us at tips@CandaceOwens.com. Okay.
That would be fun to know, wouldn't it, Candace? What in the world actually happened? You know, asking the tough questions, waiting for the real answers. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But alas, nothing to see here. I mean, we're just going to go with what they told us. No matter how many times in the past, what they told us was straight up B to the S. This time, it's completely different. I usually don't respond to the comments, but Tawny, yeah, I'm 100% with you on that one. I'm 100% with you. Yeah. I used to watch a little Donahue myself. If you watch the little commercial before my show starts, the me commercial, not the network commercial, the AnomicAge, propagating truth in a world of lies. That one, that is definitely a Donahue bit. That was me editing that up to poke a little jabby jab during the COVID hoax. Absolutely. And I'm going to try to, I miss Art Bell too, man. I full disclosure, have been listening to Art Bell for so long. I know he's since moved on and no longer of this mortal coil, but I've been listening to his reruns here for the last couple weeks. And I used to, this is dating me too, but that's okay because I'm on this side of the dirt. But I used to have my tape recorder on a timer, like my stereo on a timer, and I would record the Art Bell program and then listen to it on the way to school in the morning because I wouldn't stay up every night until 3 when I was in high school and college. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. I love Art Bell, and if you like that stuff, I am definitely going to take this show a little bit in that direction, I promise. And I know it's going to not jive with a lot of the folks that just want to get up here and talk about propaganda and politics and conspiracies. You know what, man? I have had enough of virtually all of it. I'm following my own advice. I'm taking my shoes off, walking in the yard, walking by the ocean, and I'm getting back to source. And I think we all just need to check out from the malarkey every now and again, because as I've said many times on this show, the more you look into the abyss, the more the abyss stares back at you. And you do not change the devil changes you. Like, that is all true. So having some sort of like, oh, I'm gonna take in all this negativity and post on it and do shows on it and have guests on it, but it's not gonna affect me. I'm gonna be just skipping down life's path, just posi core, youth of today. No, man, that is complete baloney. So I'm definitely going to steer the reins of the show, maybe a little bit, into that sort of material. The problem is, I suppose finding other people that want to talk about that stuff. So if you're into that, if you're into the more Art Bell side of things, I have done a few shows into that. I talked about a little bit of that with the great Dr. Bill Burns. He was on the show. He's been on the show many times in the past, but I believe the last time we spoke, we definitely got into a little bit of the macabre. Every time we've talked a little UFOs, and we've talked a little in the realm of the great Art Bell. But the last time we got into the paranormal as well. And if you're into that vein, I would suggest looking into the shows that I've had with the great Bill Bean. Both of these guys, if you're into that sort of stuff, you probably know their names because they've been on a vast majority of the big programs that have been in that realm, the TV shows, the talk shows, and the like. Those guys, nothing but respect for both of those gentlemen, and I'm missing some others. Goodness, it's been a while, but as you might have picked up on, I'm going to have a whole lot more guests coming on the show again, hopefully in the future. Not just a one-off thing tomorrow, but I shall have more. What are we looking at? We're looking at an hour and 1 minute of recording time. Do we have time for more? I don't know. Let's go. Man. I think I'm going to end on a comedic note because you kind of have to. I don't know how anybody gets up and does a serious news show about nothing but pedophiles and child traffickers and murderers and just the lowest form of life that you could not possibly scrape off your shoe in the dark. I don't know how you just do that day in and day out and don't approach it with a huge bit of humor. Because I used to try to do that. I used to do like a straight show, like nothing but the facts, and we're not going to be funny, and we're going to be serious, and we're going to wear a jacket and a tie, and I finally was like, this is bad for your health. And it's not me. So I can't do that. What I can do is show you this guy. This guy, oh my goodness, man. Thanadar. Put this guy on the screen. Thanadar. Oh my goodness. Just like, it's like Thundar, but different. Thanadar, this Indian gentleman who looks like a character from Saturday Night Live. I don't know how anybody in their right mind looks at Thanadar and even for a millisecond says, oh yeah, this guy's for real. Thanadar. This guy looks like the Saturday Night Live character. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. He looks like the Indian version of that guy. I can't even think of what that character's name was. I mean, it's been decades when the show was actually funny, but he looks like that guy. If you know who that guy is from Saturday Night Live from like the early 90s to late 80s, just throw it in the comments. I can't think of who that is, but it's like the I'm good enough, I'm smart enough guy. That's this guy. If this guy were Indian, like did some ridiculous eyebrow work and got a weird toupee. I mean, this whole thing is just weird. Like, that's what I kept saying with all the Charlie Kirk stuff and all the Trump stuff. Like, who looks at this? Who looks at any of this as like the everyday normal American male, in my case? Who looks at this and is like, oh yeah, this is believable. This is legitimate. Thanadar? Thanadar. If I'm mispronouncing this guy's name, awesome. I hope he hates it because this is a joke. Here's the thing, man. The joke is either on you or them. And I think anyone following these people, and assuredly anyone that buys into any of this. That's the thing, man. Who's the bigger fool? The fool or the fool who follows the fool? The fool who follows the fool, of course. And that's the problem in America is you've got a vast majority of the public that won't stand up and go, yo, this ain't ice cream. This is something else, okay? This ain't sugar. This is something else. People are like reticent to say it, cowardly to say it. I don't know what it is. I got it because they want to be in the pack. They want to be weak sheep. They want to be in the club, whether it's the club on the right that says Trump can do no wrong, we're just going to keep on keeping on and keep voting, or it's the cult members on the left that are like, it's all satanic, it's all terrible, it's all tranny, it's all gay, it's all, whatever, man. It's all bull butter. Both sides are completely full of prunes. Let's hear from Thanadar, and then we'll discuss ever so briefly, if you can stomach it.
Returning back to Detroit this morning after the Republicans failed to show up in the U.S. House. We got to make sure Americans have the health care that they need. And if that means we got to shut this government down, so be it.
So that's Thanadar. He's admitting to everybody that the communist bleep holes under the guise of Democrats have intentionally shut the government down so that they can get more health care for illegal aliens, more health care for people that have no business even receiving any health care. Oh, my gosh. I want to listen to Thanadar again just because it's so deranged. I mean, imagine being around this guy for a minute. Imagine you're in the airport and you see Thanadar walking. Oh, man, it's so weird. But this is real. As I said before, folks, this is the reality that we are currently in. Yeah, this is it, folks. This is weak sheep. There you go. Weak sheep, folks. So we got to self-validate. We have to be strong individually. And it's tough because people out there are going to be like, oh, my God, you don't want to go to the party, man. You don't want to hang out, and you don't want to talk about how great Trump is, and you don't want to go out there and protest ICE and whatever the freak, man. You got to actually stand up, have a backbone, have some temerity, or dare I say, los huevos, and go, hey, I'm out of step with the world, and that's okay. Like, who wants to be friends with people that support Thanadar? Like, nobody. Who wants to be friends with people that support over $70 billion to murderers? Nobody. I didn't even get into the clip. I'm sorry, I didn't even pull the clip where I think it was the fourth visit of Bibi to the White House since the Trump regime take two has gone into full swing here. And he pulls, I covered this on the previous show, but Bibi's over there saying, oh, it's biblical, you've got to support us forever. And then, of course, DJT is all like, yo, we're always going to back you, Bibi. We love you. And then they went off and made out in a corner with the wall. Like, what? Oh, my goodness gracious. This is really our reality, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Every time I see one of those, did you vote for those things? And it shows ICE like scraping some slime bucket off the ground. I'm like, yeah, I voted for that. I got it. But I didn't vote for $70 billion to a murderous multinational corporation. No, I didn't. I did not vote for blindly backing everything Bibi does until the cows come home. I did not. No. I did not say we're still going to fund Ukraine and we're going to taunt Russia into even greater heights of insanity. Nope, didn't vote for that either. Okay, I'm done. I can't talk anymore about this. Check it out tomorrow. Again, God willing, anything could happen between now and then. You know, I could slip on a banana peel. The world could come to a cataclysmic and screeching halt. Please. Or, you know, whatever. But God willing, I will be with Dr. Jane tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. As I always say, folks, please get out there, do your part, make a difference. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Please get out there, do your part. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the AnomicAge.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.